What's up, guys? So I've been thinking about it, and I kind of wanted to do a kind of a grab bag here of different topics. I'm starting to lose a lot of stuff that I had. I'm sure it would come back, but I want to pass it on to someone. So, a couple things here. Using tuition assistance after your first year in the Army, I believe it is. Ask your immediate leadership. You have access to tuition assistance. Start college now. Get your prerequisites out of the way. Be done with it. And if you don't know what you want to be, just chip away one class at a time. It's math, science, something you won't have to take later generally. Get it done. Otherwise, it's almost $4,500 a year that the government gets to keep that you're actually entitled to. You don't see it on your paycheck, but it's dollar value of the training. So start college early. Central Issue Facility. Congratulations, you made it out of basic training. You're on to your first unit. You're going to CIF for the first time. Generally, your team leader will come with you. Sometimes they can't. So, I know a lot of people that got screwed on their CIF turn-in because they didn't inventory things on their clothing record or what have you. So, you're going to go to CIF, you're going to get handed one widget. One widget's going to go, in theory, one widget should go on your clothing record. That's not always the case. Okay, so once every single thing is on that counter that you are receiving, inventory it. If you don't know what something is, ask the employees at CIF. They are there to help you. They may be rude, they may be kind of mean. It's their job to help you. If they're not giving you answers, ask to talk to someone else. So when they give you your clothing record, you're going to see partial NSN or part NSN. I don't remember how it shows up on there. It's going to be a landscape formatted thing. And you're going to get the last four of what that item is. So find the jacket, whatever they call it, and find the tag inside and match the last four. If it doesn't match, ask them why it doesn't match or ask them to correct it. Go through and do that with every single item you have, especially clothing. Clothing is expensive. If it's canteens, if it's broken or garbage looking, just ask for a new one, right? Because when you get out, you're just going to buy brand new stuff and turn in brand new stuff so you don't have to pay $12 for an $8 canteen or whatever they are at clothing and sales. Check everything. Crinkle test your plates. So pick up one plate, put it on the corner, smash it on, kind of try and crush it, try and make it bend. If you can't, or if it sounds like Rice Krispies inside, if it sounds like Rice Krispies, you want to turn it in. If you can't get it to make any noise, check the covering, make sure it's okay, run your hand up and down both sides of it and on the corners, edges, and make sure there's no lumps, bumps, bruises, or not bruises, it's an inanimate object, no lumps or bumps or anything like that, okay? So check that out. Before basic training, get in as good a shape as you possibly can. So if you're coming in later in life like I did, cut down on how much alcohol you're using. If you use chewing tobacco, try and stop it. If you're a smoker, you better stop that. You're not going to get allowed to do any of that in basic training. If you get caught doing it, you will get in crap. You will get in big time trouble. Save that for when you're out of basic training. There will be plenty of time to smoke a cigarette with the boys in the actual Army. If that's what you want to do, cool. Key development position. So I kind of went through this with my video on what to expect being an MP. You're going to start as a gunner or a driver. You're going to learn those jobs, move up to a team leader. Then you're going to become a squad leader. After your squad leader time, or maybe in between being a team leader and squad leader, you may go to an additional skill identifier, do a lateral task, learn a different specialty, and then move on. Post squad leader time, you will potentially get tapped for instructor, drill sergeant, recruiter duty, any of those things that kind of pave your way to E7 or sergeant first class. Somewhere in there you may also get the chance to go to ranger, pathfinder, military diver, or army diver. It's a real thing. Not very common, but it exists. Try and get air assault. And if you can't get that, get airborne. Airborne's kind of a dying institution. Try and go get air assault. It's a little more practical than airborne. I'm not throwing shade at you guys, screaming eagles all the way, whatever, cool. Got it. I understand. Gear setup. Ask your squad leader, ask your team leader. If they're wearing a patch on the right side of their Army combat uniform, ask them how to set up your gear. If you don't know, don't do it. Ask. Weave your molly, over, under, over, under, over, under. You'll know when you look at it. Don't just thread it through all the way down. You got to weave it like a basket. Over, under, over, under, over, under. Ranges, tips, tricks, things like that. Lieutenants, platoon sergeants, this applies to you. Drip pans. Not just great for catching drips. You're running a machine gun range, put it up on top of the vehicle or underneath the weapon on the tripod. Use it to catch brass, ammo, or brass, links, stuff like that. Make your job easier. Clean up between iterations. You should have a couple different drip pans for each truck. Take a full one, replace it with an empty one. Anything in the Army, if you take something, replace it with a new one. If you're doing garbages, put a spare garbage can liner underneath it, change it out. Pay that forward. If you use water, replace water, so on and so forth. Night fires with the range. These can actually be accomplished in the hours of daylight, or before the hours of daylight on the range. I'd recommend you get there early, do your night fire before the sun comes up, go into your day qualification. By the time the sun's setting, everyone's qualified. Anyone that needs to do a night fire that's piggybacking from another company or anything like that will show up when they show up. But generally speaking, you can get your guys rotated home, rotated to the rear, clean weapons, retask, whatever you need to do with them. It's about all I got. Functions check your weapon before you step away from the arms room, because when you take that weapon and you step off, it's your problem now. If you turn it in broken, they think you broke it. Check your night vision. They don't give you batteries, or the batteries that are in that thing are going to be dead. Check your night vision. If it doesn't turn on, now's the time to know, so you can hop back in line. Hey, armor guy, sergeant, whatever. Can I get a different one? This is busted because XYZ. PMCS everything. Do everything you can. If your stuff doesn't come with a manual in the bag, get a manual. Do your preventative checks and services all the time. Every morning, clear your weapon, make sure your weapon's clear, do a functions check. Check your night vision. Don't half-ass your PMCS if you're a driver. Do the job, do it right. It'll save you time in the end. If you're a driver and your vehicle's rotated in for service, go talk to the mechanics. Get a grease gun. Go grease the 90-something grease fittings underneath the Humvee. Questions, comments, put them down below. Lightning round, done.